Hi, I'm Tamara with Ohio EPA. Welcome to this compliance session, which focuses on an important part of staying in compliance with your air permit, the Permit Evaluation Report, also known as the PER. The PER is submitted to Ohio EPA each year that you have your permit and can currently be submitted either in hard copy or paper form or electronically through the Ohio EPA e-Business Center. This session will focus on the hard copy submittal process. Whether you just received your air permit and are completing your very first PER, or whether you've completed PER for years but you still have questions, this compliance session will help you become a PER expert. So join me for the next few minutes as I help you build that compliance skill.
The PER captures important information about your facility and your air permit over the last reporting year. Let's start the PER by updating your facility information. This is the first page of the PER. You can see that the top portion's already filled out with the year you're reporting for, as well as some of your basic facility information. Review all this information and make sure it's correct. If you have any changes to your facility name, address, or other contact information, you can put the updated information in the blank table provided. Finally, the first page of the PER even lets you know where to mail the completed form back to. After you've updated your facility and contact information, it's time to review and update information about the equipment or operations covered in your air permit. These are known as emission units. The table on the top of this page summarizes the equipment and operations that are covered in your air permit. Again, these are known as your emission units. If you've had any changes with your emission units, you can provide updated information in the blank table below. Examples of emission unit changes that should be reported in the PER include conditions where you didn't operate your equipment or you didn't conduct your operations for a period of time during the reporting year. Any permanent shutdown or removal of your equipment or operations should also be reported. Also report any changes in your operations, especially if those changes resulted in an increase of emissions. If you've added any new processes or equipment, that should also be reported in the PER. Finally, you should also let Ohio EPA know if you've added any emission control equipment or made any changes to any emission control equipment during the reporting period. In addition to letting Ohio EPA know if anything's changed at your facility, the PER also requires you to report your compliance with your air permit. The next page of the PER provides instructions on completing the final section, which is self-reporting your compliance. We'll discuss this section in more detail. The last section of the PER is the detailed emission unit form. The purpose of this form is to let Ohio EPA know if you followed your air permit requirements for that emission unit. If you have more than one emission unit included in your air permit, you will have a separate detailed emission unit form for each emission unit, but the process for completing each form is exactly the same. The top of this form provides some basic information about your emissions unit. Take a look at the information, make sure it's correct. Next, the PER asks you to self-report your compliance with your air permit over the last year. But before you're tempted to simply check the boxes and mail the form back in, please read carefully because the form actually asks you if you've had any deviations from your air permit requirements. This means that the form is actually asking you if there's any times you did not follow one of your permit requirements. Let's take a closer look at this. Question A refers to deviations from operational restrictions. These are things like permit limits on operating hours, material limits, and emission limitations. Question B refers to deviations from any monitoring, record keeping, and reporting that's required in your permit. This can include things such as tracking your coating use, tracking your operating hours, or logging any visible emission or baghouse pressure deviation incidents. Remember that the questions are asked in the negative. Therefore, if you followed what your air permit required in terms of operations, emission limits, record keeping, reporting, then you would actually answer no to A and B, indicating that you did not deviate from these air permit requirements. If you followed your air permit and did not report any deviations in A or B, then you can skip question C. If you did not follow some of your permit requirements and reported deviations in questions A or B, then you need to provide additional information about the deviation in question C. If this applies to you, you can attach an additional piece of paper with your PER that provides more information about the part of the permit you didn't comply with, how you corrected it, and what your plan is moving forward to stay in compliance. Finally, question D asks about any additional information that you're required to include in your PER that is not covered in questions A or B. This is specific to each facility, and not every permit will have additional information that's required. You can review the miscellaneous requirements section of your air permit to see if you have any additional PER information requirements. We've just walked through all the sections of the PER. So if you've been following along with your actual PER paperwork, congratulations, you just completed your PER report. If you need any additional help submitting your PER or need help with other environmental compliance issues, please contact our Office of Compliance Assistance and Pollution Prevention for free and confidential help. Thanks for watching and have a great day.